I have noticed a growing trend in people attacking black characters in video games. This is really something that came out of nowhere. I've noticed this incessant hatred for black characters, the unfair targeting of characters who most of the time are not even created by black people. This has made me feel that black people don't belong in video games, but that couldn't be anything further from the truth. Let's be real, a bad video game is a bad video game. But why is it that when the whole game and all its characters are bad, that people all of a sudden cherry pick the black characters? They ignore all the other characters and go after the black characters. I can't believe that I ever let thoughts like this affect me, and I'm going to disprove a lot of all this online hatred. First of all, let me say this. Video games would not be where they are today without black people. Black people have made just as big of a contribution to video games as much as anyone. It really hurts that people are monetizing hatred towards skin color. But you know what? Even though this is personal, I'm not going to make it personal. What doesn't make sense is that for at least the past 40 years of gaming and video games, there have been good black characters. And fast forward to now, where for the past maybe about 6 years, we have been getting bad characters in games. People are using woke and DEI as an excuse to single out people of brown or dark skin. I don't understand how a few years does away with close to 4 decades of great video games and great black characters. For as long as video games have existed, there have always been black video game characters. I could go on and on about how many iconic black video game characters there are, the diversity of their characters, the diversity of their looks, the diversity of who these characters are. It really makes no sense of how we got to this point. For example, for a long time we had black characters in first-person shooter video games that involve the military, literal black super soldiers, but then you get a black female detective in a video game and then all of a sudden it's woke. You get a black secret agent in a video game and then all of a sudden it's woke. With all the good examples of really good black video game characters that we have, how have we reached this point? This is not a black people are good or a black people are great video. This is me asking you, imagine all the games that wouldn't exist if it wasn't for black people. Think of all the greatest games we have, and whichever video game has black characters in it, take those games and then remove them. And I'm talking about all video games that have ever existed, from all consoles that have ever existed, and then let's see what we are left with. The truth is, people never used to care. For a long time, diversity was a good thing. It used to make things better. I have no idea how they dropped the ball on this. Diversity back in 2005 is very different from diversity in 2025. The thing that annoys me the most is the whole anti-woke crowd. A bunch of these new YouTubers who just constantly say the same things of how too many brown people in a video game is what makes a video game woke, which is really not honest of them. Video games went woke a while ago. For example, you look at a game like The Last of Us Part 2, a very woke game that had almost no black characters in it, but then people still love the game, almost as if these people are saying that if a woke game doesn't have any brown people to blame for it being bad, then the game is decent because it has a lack of diversity. The only time I feel diversity is a bad thing is when it is forced diversity, because when you insert a character to meet a certain quota, most of the time they are put in last minute and serve no relevant purpose other than just to meet that quota. So if you want proper representation, then make good characters. It makes things worse if you try to represent a people or culture and you do a bad job of it. It would rather be best that if you feel you can't pull it off, then you should just leave it out entirely. After doing a bit of research, I have seen how many black characters that have been in video games, and believe me, the list is really long. And then I found an even bigger list that shows all video games that have black protagonists, and to be honest, I knew there were a good amount of video games with black characters and black protagonists, but I had no idea there were this many. The biggest recent controversy is about Assassin's Creed Shadows and people's hatred of a black samurai called Yasuke, who was a real historical figure. The whole drama started with people choosing to target Yasuke, and this was also one of the inspirations of this video. Is people who are not even from Japan or Japanese trying to gatekeep Japanese culture, wanting to be the ones who say who can and cannot be a part of Japanese history or culture. The people who seem to be speaking the loudest are Americans, and rightfully so. They have been called out by everyone. Assassin's Creed Shadows has just been getting milked for drama, with people looking for any reason to either complain about Yasuke or about the game. I am just ready for it to come out so that all of us can move on with our lives. The other thing people never speak about is the importance of black voice talent. What most people don't realize is that for many years there have been big black actors who've given voice to black video game characters. For example, GTA San Andreas has many big black Hollywood actors in it, not to mention how many famous actors there were who gave voice to characters in GTA games. For example, God of War has always had a black voice actor playing Kratos, with both the original and the reboot having two big Hollywood actors who voiced Kratos. Gaming and video games have been growing more amongst black people, with there being more black gaming streamers and black gaming YouTubers. Everyone would want to see someone that looks like them in a video game, specifically someone who is the same skin color as them. Representation is important, but representation done right is more important. Proper representation shows respect. If you don't like the character, then take it out on the creator. Don't take it out on the race of the character. You'd think that at this point in time, we would have moved past this. I know this whole woke attack on black characters will end eventually. I just made this to vent a bit and get things off my chest, and how unhappy I am that people think in such a stupid way, and also to defend morality. When something is wrong, it's wrong. And with that, this is the Chilly Man signing off. I thank everyone for watching. Peace out.